So you've realized that your current systems are holding your business back, and you can feel this pain every single day. The same information is getting entered twice, once into this application, another time into this other software. Opportunities, they're coming into the business, but they're dying because there's nowhere that you're properly tracking them. And you're running the whole operation across 5 to 7 tools maybe that don't even talk to each other and that your team has forced to fit your business. Now, I'm gonna give you a cold hard truth here. Your current systems are causing you to bleed money every single day that you don't do something about it. And let's assume you do something about it, that you decide that you want to get something built. Because right about here, most owners think that they only have 3 choices. 1, either hire a developer inside of the business. 2, offshore it to the Philippines or India. Or 3, hire an outsourced development agency based here in Australia. But here is what nobody warns you about. All 3 lead to a dead end. And there's a 4th way through that none of them will point you to. And so today I'm going to walk you down all 3, and then I'm going to show you that 4th option that you've likely never heard of. And I'm going to leave you with one rule called the ownership test. So you can make this decision for yourself, even if you shut the laptop and never see my face again. Now, first, let me take the weight off your shoulders. If you've hit this wall, you're actually not behind, you're not slow. Congratulations are in order because you've actually hit a milestone. Every business that scales eventually gets to the same place as you. That nagging feeling that you've got, that your systems are off and you can't quite put your finger on it, that feeling has a name. That's you hitting what I call the systems ceiling. So write this down because it's the most important thing I'm going to say to you today. The day that you realize your business needs custom systems and you've got nobody around to build it, that's not you falling behind. That's your business outgrowing the systems that got it this far. Now, let me give you someone to picture because I'm going to use him throughout this entire video. Let's call him Dave. Dave runs a commercial cleaning company. They're doing around $6 million a year. They're a good business. They're growing. And Dave's decided he needs a proper system built, something to run his jobs end to end because the spreadsheets that used to run the show are now breaking. Dave's just hit the wall. He looks around his business and he realizes that there's not one person in the company that owns technology. Dave is standing at the crossroads, and this is the crossroads that you're standing at right now. And before Dave picks a road, let's both agree on what a good decision should look like. And we'll just ask 3 questions. It's either a yes or a no. 1, when the system is built, is there a team that knows how it works? 2, when the business changes, and it will, is there someone there to change the systems and adapt the systems with it? And 3, can Dave get this done without becoming the project manager of a system he does not understand? 3 yeses is a good decision. I'm sure you'd agree. Hold on to these because we're going to score every road against them in this video. Road 1, Dave hires a developer in-house. It's the safe, big business move, right? You get your own software engineers, you get them to sit directly next to you, and you get them to build the things that you need. In truth though, it's the road with the most hidden downside. And let me show you why. I'll give this trap a name. I call it the confident hire because here's the problem. Dave is not technical. So when Dave interviews developers, he cannot tell a good one from just a confident one. He can't read the code. He can't test the thinking. He's buying a skill he has no way to inspect off just a 30-minute chat and a gut feel. So Dave ends up hiring someone who just interviews well. Salary is $150,000 a year. And for the first few months, everything seems fine. There's activity, there are updates. Then slowly, Dave starts to realize that the thing that's being built isn't quite right. It's late, it's fragile, it doesn't do half of what he pictured in his head. But by now, he's 6 figures of salary deep with a half-built system and no way to tell if the problem is the plan or the person behind it. But let's say Dave gets lucky. Say the developer's actually really good. Now he's got a second problem, and this one's worse. I call it the key man cliff. One developer means one person is holding your entire system in their head, and they're the only one in the organization that understands the technology. Every decision, every shortcut, every reason it's built the way that it's built, all of it rests with this one guy. And the project that's 70% built dies the day that that person leaves. And now Dave has to hire the next developer. And that person opens up the last guy's work and says the line that every owner dreads. I think we should just rebuild this. And Dave's paying all over again for someone to understand the last guy before they can add a single new thing to the system. And here's what nobody tells Dave. A real build needs someone to architect it, someone to actually build it, and someone to keep it alive once it's running. That's 3 different jobs. One developer is just one slice of the whole team needed to run a system of this size. So who covers the rest? Dave does. The non-technical owner becomes the project manager of a thing that he can't evaluate, chasing a person that he can't replace on a system only that person understands. So let's score road 1 against our criteria. Is there a team that knows how the system works? No, it's just one person. When the business changes, is there someone there to change the system? Only if that person sticks around. And can Dave avoid becoming the project manager? No, he basically becomes one. 3 crosses, the default move fails on all 3. All right, so that's road 1, not an option. I think we can both agree. So Dave has a creative thought and he looks at the price tag of a local developer and he thinks there has to be a cheaper way. And there is, obviously, on paper. It's road 2, and this is sending the work offshore. So he looks to hire freelancers, maybe in the Philippines or India, off sites like Upwork or Fiverr or onlinejobs.ph. It's a fraction of the cost and he could literally find someone and get them started this week. And on the surface, it looks like the smart, cost-effective move, but for a business of Dave's size, it's the one that can hurt you the quickest, because I call it the phantom build. And here's why it's phantom. Remember Dave's original problem on road 1? Where he can't tell a good developer from a confident one? Offshore doesn't fix that. It makes it worse and much harder to detect, because now he's evaluating someone he's never even met through a screen in another time zone, off just a profile and 5-star ratings that he has no way to really verify. The guy's not in the room with him. So the build ends up happening somewhere he can't see, by someone he can't read, in technical languages he certainly does not speak. So it's like a black box. Stuff goes in, stuff comes out, and you just have no idea what's happening in the middle. And when something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong when it comes to software, there's nobody that's really accountable. The freelancer's juggling 6 other clients. The reply probably comes 12 hours later. The fix creates 2 new problems that are even worse. Then one day the good one goes quiet, gets a better paying client, and just disappears, and Dave is left with a half-finished system he can barely make sense of. So who has to pick up the slack here? Who has to chase the update? Who tests the work? Who manages the time zone back and forth? Who stitches it all together? Dave does. The non-technical owner becomes the unpaid project manager of a build that he can't see, run by people that he certainly cannot hold accountable. So it is the cheapest on paper, but it's the most expensive for his time and his stress levels. So let's score road 2. Is there someone that knows how it works? No. There's simply a rotating bunch of strangers on the internet, and the system lives in a black box. When the business changes, is there someone there to change the system with it? Maybe, but only if they are online and only if they're still interested. And can Dave avoid becoming the project manager? Not a single chance in hell. He becomes a project manager and a translator and a late night shift worker. Road 2 fails on all 3 also. So road 1 was expensive and risky. Road 2 is cheap and invisible. It's a different trap, but the same dead end. Poor Dave has been burned twice now. He's done with managing one person and he's done with the offshore black box. So he goes down the most grown-up route left. Road 3. Outsource it to a proper development agency. A whole team, all in one place. You can actually see them. Problem solved, right? Now, it does solve a couple of the earlier problems, but the usual version comes with its own trap. And you've probably felt this one before. I call it agency theater. And here's how the theater plays. There's a slick proposal up front. There's a kickoff with everyone in the team on the call. There's an account manager who you'll notice is always lovely and non-technical. And there's a scoped project with a fixed end date. But here's the thing that nobody says out loud about an agency. They never actually come inside of your business to deeply understand your business. They turn up for the kickoff, they take the brief, and then they go away and they build it somewhere else. They never sit in your operational meetings. They never feel the day-to-day like you do. They never learn the 100 little things about how you actually run, the stuff that never makes it into a requirements document because you don't even think to mention it. So they build off a surface understanding, and a surface understanding only ever builds a surface level system. Their impact is capped, and it's not because they're not clever, but because they're standing outside of the window looking in. And here's the deeper truth, and this is the whole thing. An agency is always on the outside. Now, they might do 1 project for you successfully. They might even do 5. They may stick around for years. But being around is not the same as being inside. They're a supplier that you send work to. They're not a team that lives inside of your business. And that's the real trap. It's not that they leave, it's that they were never truly in. I call this the outsider problem, because an outsider can only ever build from what you're able to describe to them. And the most important things about how your business actually runs are the things you'd never think to put in a brief. You don't know to say them because to you, it's just the way things are. So Dave ends up with a system that's technically what he asked for, but it's not what his business actually needed. He got a thing built, sure, but it was built by people who were always one step removed, who never felt the day-to-day, owned a deliverable, but not the outcome. And the moment his business moves, and it will move, he's leaning on outsiders to understand a business that we're never really a part of. So let's score road 3. Is there a team that knows how the business works from the inside? No, they only ever knew it from the outside. And when the business changes, is there someone who truly understands the system there to change it? No, because they were never part of the business in the first place. Can Dave avoid becoming the project manager? Now, sort of, but he's still the only one in the building who actually understands his own operation. So road 3 fails too, just differently again. So look at where Dave is. 3 roads, none of them work for him. Hire in-house, you get a key man risk. Offshore it, you get a black box that you can't see into. Hand it to an agency, you get a system built from the outside in. 3 different traps, every single one of them dead ends at the same place, with Dave owning a system he can't run. Now, here's the part I really want you to get. The crossroads is rigged. It was never just those 3 options. There's a 4th way through, and most owners genuinely don't know it's there because nobody tells them about it. None of these 3 salesmen point to it because none of them sell it. The offshore marketplace doesn't sell it. The agency definitely doesn't sell it. So nobody tells Dave it exists. That road is what I call an embedded tech team. Not a developer you manage, not freelancers you chase across time zones, not an agency working on you from the outside, a team that does the architecture, the build, and the running of it, that stays embedded in your business and keeps building as you grow. They become your technology function, the one that you don't have. They're the ones who own the long-term outcomes, and they're the ones who are accountable for those outcomes. And you never have to hire a single developer again. You never have to vet a single freelancer or sit through any more agency meetings. So look at what that kills. Every single trap all at once. No keyman cliff because it's a team, not a person. No black box build because they're embedded with you and they're accountable. They're not a stranger behind a screen. And there's no outsider problem because they've come in on the inside of the business. They're a part of your business. They're not a supplier that you brief from a distance. They live in it with you, and when your business moves, the team that built it is the same team, still on the inside, that changes it. Now let's score this one against all of our 3 questions. Is there a team that knows how it works? Yes. When the business changes, is someone there to change the systems? Yes. Can Dave avoid becoming the project manager of something he can't evaluate? Yes, because now he's got a team that owns the technical thinking in his business, not just the coding. So this one gets 3 ticks, the only path that passes. Now, 2 quick things people always ask me here. First, do I even need to buy custom software? Can't I just buy something off the shelf? Sometimes, yes. If a tool off the shelf does the job, buy it. I'll tell you that for free. But Dave's past that point, just like you probably are. His systems are at their ceiling precisely because his business does something off the shelf does not fit anymore. That's exactly when custom systems are needed. Second, the magic word that everyone has been waiting for, AI. AI is real, and a good embedded team uses it to build faster for you and run leaner. But AI is just the engine in the back. It's not the final decision. The decision is still about who owns the outcome in the business, which brings us to the only thing you actually need to remember. Let me show you this working, not as theory, but in a real business. We worked with a company turning over about $3 million per year. They were a serious operation. They were doing 15 to 20 large deals a week, and they had the exact problem that Dave has. No one technical inside of the building. Spreadsheets and off-the-shelf tools, they stretched way past their limits. They didn't hire a developer, they didn't send it offshore, and they didn't hand it to an agency that's on the outside. What happened instead is that we became their embedded team. We built their internal tooling, the CRMs, the platforms that actually run their business day to day, all bespoke, all for their specific use case. And here's the part that matters. We didn't just hand it over and disappear. That's not our intention when we work with our clients. We're still building with them because the business keeps moving and the systems and software need to move along with it. So before you post that developer job and before you hire that freelancer, before you take another discovery call with an agency, just ask yourself this one question. When our systems are built, who's on the hook for keeping it alive? If the honest answer is nobody, then building the thing was never the real problem. The real problem is you've got nobody who owns the technology in a business that's clearly outgrown not having one. That's the problem worth solving first. So if all of this sounded very familiar and you have big plans for your business, please book a free call with me and my team, not to be sold anything, but to work out together what your business actually needs before you spend $1 finding out the hard way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.